Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be reviewing the Kask Protone Icon road cycling helmet. Claimed to be one of the most photographed cycling helmets on the market, the Kask Protone has been a popular helmet among the pro peloton. The new Kask Protone Icon builds upon that reputation with improvements in ventilation, aerodynamics, and fit. In terms of packaging, it's very simple. You have the Kask white and green box with this nice halo logo right on the top. We have the large version here for the American market and the gray color scheme. Go ahead and take it out of the box and go over the specs. So retail price on this is $299.95. So definitely a premium priced helmet, but not the most expensive one Kask offers. It has a more aerodynamic profile, and that's the main differentiation between this and the previous Protone. It has their WG11 certification, which is an in-house rotational inertia test. So that goes beyond the standard CPC or European standards to make sure the helmet is extra safe. There is no MIPS or other safety devices in here. It's built in directly into the helmet instead. You have CoolMax fabric lining. So this is a very plush, removable fabric on the inside of the helmet. And it's one of the reasons why Kask helmets are really comfortable. It has an updated OctoFit fit system. So this is a head retention cradle. You can see you have these extended little regions on the back and a more open section in the back. So this is actually ponytail friendly with an easier to use dial. You have an eco leather strap as well. And that actually proudly says made in Italy, which is pretty impressive these days and gives you a little bit more comfort with no adjustments otherwise on the side of the straps. In terms of what comes with the helmet, obviously you get the helmet, a little tag for the WG11 certification, a little info card here that kind of advertises the Kask Protone and kind of highlights what's different about it. Underneath the little box, you also get some additional information. So again, shows you the full lineup within Kask. And you get the travel bag, which is always a really nice feature. So if you ever want to store the helmet when you're not using it and don't want it to get dusty, I highly recommend using the little fabric bag. So you can throw the helmet in there, keep it safe, or travel with it. And it has a little Kask logo on there. Now let's take a look at the weight of the Kask helmet. Again, we have the large North America version, so it's a little heavier than the European counterpart. Putting that on the scale, it comes in at 292, so still pretty light and not something you're really going to feel while you're riding. Now let's go over the fit and finish of the Protone Icon helmet. At first glance, it looks very similar to the Protone that's currently out, but they've really updated and tweaked it for better aerodynamics and a lot of little details. The vent placement is very similar, so same iconic design, and it really looks like a sports car. If you just look at the bottom, this looks like the bumper of a Ferrari or Lamborghini with the side air scoops and the little bump on there. So really sleek looking. Everything's just tweaked and adjusted. You have this nice molding lines as well. So this is like curvature inward and then a sharp crease here. That really helps it look fast even when it's sitting in place. So again, you see those sharp creases go right through the back and top. The main difference between this helmet and the previous version is really that side profile. They've really redesigned the top and extended the top scoop down for better aerodynamics and this flatter profile. So a really good looking helmet from there and very reminiscent of POC or other helmets. The back has those same vents that really funnel the air through, and you can see right through the helmet with this large opening. Minimal branding with just Kask on the sides, the back, and then this nice reflective sticker here that helps you be seen at night. We have the gray version here, which really looks like a Nardo gray that you would find on higher end vehicles. Looks like a primer, but it's a glossy color. So really good looking helmet. They offer quite a few solid color options, and they'll probably offer graphical treatments and more limited editions. The shell is also really well done. So being a $300 helmet, all the creases and edges are very nice and sharp between the exposed foam and the shell. The top and bottom pieces of the shell, even though they're two pieces, they're very clean and flush. So you can see it's a seamless technology, and they sit right next to each other and really look like one piece. The shell also wraps around the inner part of the rim, and that gives it that higher end look. One big difference that differentiates high end helmets and lower end helmets, as it really looks complete. So when you look at it from the side or underneath, it looks like it's fully finished. In terms of the inside of the helmet, they've added this OctoFit system. So basically they've redesigned this to have this nice vertical adjustment. So it has a simple ratchet there on the inside, and just apply a little bit of pressure and it'll move around. And they've modified the rear cradle, so you can see it has a big opening here. So if you have a ponytail, you can put that right through. And then they've added these little extensions on the side of the cradle. That really helps hug your head. And again, has this nice soft foam. So all the foam on the inside of here is very soft, and it's all Velcroed on. So you can easily take it off and wash it after a few rides. The inside also doesn't have any MIPS liner or any other secondary safety feature. Instead, everything's really built into the helmet and passes their own internal testing. So you can see really nice and open and really funnels air through the helmet and out the back. And that's something you don't really see with a MIPS helmet or something with a thicker liner. The straps themselves are also just simple fabric. They've done away with the adjustments on the side. So you can see it's just sewn directly on. That does mean potentially this won't fit some people, but it should fit about 95% of them. And a very simple plastic buckle. So no fancy fit lock. Instead, it's a lightweight, easy to use buckle on there. The chin strap is also what they call eco leather, which is just fake leather with the proudly printed made in Italy, which is impressive again in this day and age. Now let's take a look at the Protone Icon on the road. As you can see, that gray color scheme really matches well with a variety of kits. We have the KR0 shoes in that bright coral red, and even the red Isidore kit match as well. The helmet itself is very attractive. You can see a nice thin profile with that aerodynamic shaping, and those front air vents, again, very aggressive, and then give that Italian feel that you see with Ferraris and Lamborghinis. The large air vents really funnel air through the helmet as well, so it's really comfortable even on warmer days. On colder days, you'll probably want to wear a beanie or the buff we're wearing there. Otherwise, really comfortable and then good looking with that reflective element on the rear. The only downside is that the rear cradle does move a bit, so if you apply a little bit of pressure, so that does feel a little strange when you're first putting on the helmet, but once it's secure, it feels really comfortable, and even in this large size, fits really well. Now let's do a comparison between the Kask Protone Icon and other helmets on the market. What we have here is the POC Ventral Spin. So you can see very similar profiles in terms of the top. They're a lot flatter. The vents tend to stop near the front. The Protone Icon has more vents, so a little better ventilation than the POC. And you can see much more aggressive than Protone, more Italian look, while the POC is more simplistic. POC also is well known for their beautiful color schemes. This matte green is not something you typically find in a lot of helmets, and they even offer different color foam, which is something you don't see, again, that often. Otherwise, very similar designs. You have the same large venting in the back that really helps funnel air through. With the POC Spin, they had their special pads in here, so they're supposed to kind of slide back and forth. Since then, they don't really offer that, and they're going to go back to a MIPS variant. But you can see otherwise, nice large air vents in both. That'll keep you cool. The retention systems, you can see the difference between the POC. It's a little more restrictive here in the back, while the Kask has a much larger design and a lot easier to move back and forth. In terms of normal helmets versus the more aerodynamic Kask Protone Icon, you can see this is a Smith Trace. It has a more smooth back profile as their Furo technology. So you can see this little honeycomb. So it does block a little bit of the ventilation, but still keeps you cool. And this has the Get Wild color scheme, which really stands out. But you can see this has the more aero profile to it. Speaking of aero helmets, the Bolle Furo is also a good option. Again, very similar side profiles. You can see how it really flattens out. While the Bolle has a little trick under their sleeves. They have the removable vents. So it has a little rubber, and you can actually take this off, and then you can run it with open vents. And then for better aero, you can actually just pop this back in and block it. The only annoying thing about that is you have to keep track of that. Similar to the Wasabi Kask helmet, which has a little switch. This one just has the removable panels. But again, very similar on the inside, and the nice thing about the Protone Icon, much more vented. Even with all the vents open on the Bolle, you don't really have that many openings. Now let's go over the pros and cons for the Kask Protone. What we like about it is that it has an aerodynamic profile, so it looks and feels fast. It also has a removable and plush inner padding, so it's very comfortable to wear. And finally, the ponytail friendly rear cradle has been redesigned to be wider and more secure. Some of the cons for the helmet is the fact that it's only offered in solid color schemes. We expect they'll add some graphical color schemes, but those will probably be limited edition. And finally, the rear cradle does slide up and down, doesn't really have a lock-in mechanism, which is a little bit strange. Taking everything into account would give the Protone Icon a 9.0 out of 10. It's a nice iconic helmet that's been refined and improved. Thanks for watching this review. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can see more content from us on our website at thesweetcyclist.com, as well as follow us on Instagram at thesweetcyclist. This is The Sweet Cyclist reminding you to enjoy the ride.